guys, how's it going? Previously on the channel, we've been working on this 1947 John Deere B. This is the John Deere B. In the previous video, we did some work to it. We changed out the fluid in the transmission unintentionally, and we also changed out the oil in the engine. Tractor had a really bad oil leak when I first got it, so I went into it and we rebuilt the oil pump because the oil pump had a leak, and also wanted to look through it anyway and make sure it was good. So we took that all apart. We changed the oil filter. Well, we kind of changed the oil filter. It's still got the old oil filter in it. I have not got the new one yet, and I was not going to wait for it. So we threw the old oil filter back in it. We got a new pump gasket, put the pump back together. We had to pull the top cover off of the engine because, well, in order to hook the thing back up, I had to pull it off anyway to get to the little coupler that holds the gear or the shaft to the camshaft gear. So I got that put in there, and while I was in there doing that, I went ahead and I washed out the block with diesel fuel because it was full of sludge from the last 80 years that this tractor's been around. We got that done and took care of. We also hooked up the air filter, or the oil bath air filter system, back up to the engine because it was never hooked up to begin with. So that was one thing I wanted to get took care of immediately. That way I knew the engine wasn't pulling in dust. We also I know there was something else that we did with it. I can't think of what. We took it out, ran it around after we did all the fluid changes, and it actually ran pretty decent. I couldn't get it to run very well at full throttle. So off camera, now we get into the stuff I've done off camera. So off camera, I went through it, I messed with the mag, I messed with the carb, and I managed to get it to the point now where it'll go under load actually pretty decent, and it sounds really good. I'll take you out there and I'll show you that here in a bit. Another thing I also did was I went through it and I greased all of the grease fittings on the tractor. I greased the front wheels, I greased the front spindle, I greased the front or the rear axle bearings where they have grease fittings. I also greased where I'm assuming a 3-point would go. Might be for a 3-point, might be for what lifts a plow, don't know. And I also greased up the clutch linkage, which I should not have done because I'm actually thinking about, or the plan for this video is I want to look into that and see if we can get that took care of and fix that problem because that clutch is really wore out. Another thing I want to look into is the brakes because the brakes on here don't exactly work all that well. And the pedals don't spring back, so that's the next thing I want to get took care of. So yeah, let's go on ahead and let's dive into it. Let me get it started up and we'll take it out and I'll show you it going uphill once we get it warmed up decent. Well, let's see how much effort it takes to start this thing up. Now it takes up the, that's right. So one of the issues that this tractor has that I want to get took care of is this. There's a lot of slop in this clutch linkage here. And if you watch it, I'm sure you'll see it when you get down. There we go. Now watch this and you tell me what you see. And also that side to side, but I'm pretty certain it should not hop around like that. So I think that's one of our issues right there. And then the other one, like I said before, was the shifter or the clutch lever. So I believe that to be our problem, one of our problems, and that's why the clutch is so difficult to get it to want to engage. Now you can get it to go if you kind of learn it and ease your way into it, but you know, somebody else jumps on here and well, they don't know about that and they floor into gear and there you go. The other thing I need to fix is the rear light, and I also want to address the brakes. I got to figure out how to get the brakes taken apart, but I'll show you the lights. So I guess we're going to figure out how this clutch works. I'm not exactly sure how this comes apart, but I noticed this pin right here, and I noticed there's a pin under here to pull this linkage out, and then I see a nut right there, so I'm figuring if we pull that pin, loosen that nut, we should be able to take that lever off. I'm not sure how far into this thing I'm going to get, but I guess we'll see. That's what I thought. There's your pin. And there's a pin in here that holds, right? Yeah, I see it right there. There we go. Get that pin out and this linkage just falls over here. And we'll come over here and we'll do the same thing. Now once again, I've never done this before, so if you're looking for a how-to video on it, I wouldn't suggest this one. This is just me figuring it out. Something that we can use to get in there. Let's just see. I figured that would have made it start moving. Came out of there. That's not what I want. Try not to. Anything? Well, oh well. We'll figure that out later. I see that came off, which is kind of what I wanted it to do. But we take a look at this. I'm sure you can see how much slop that has in it, which I don't think it's supposed to have. Let's see, what size do we think that is? I'm gonna guess. It's just, there we go. That came loose pretty simple. I'm assuming that that's not gonna come out as easy as I'm thinking it will, so we'll want to put that back on there. Careful. I'm not quite sure how exactly that comes apart. I think I might have just figured it out. Well, let's see if we can get it to go. I'm just going to be gentle and careful with this. There it goes. I think we got it. I think we got it figured out. It went. Wasn't hitting it very hard either. I was just trying to ease it out. Which it seems like it did. So that's good. Let's throw this on here. Enough to get it out. I see it's a spline shaft. Yeah, see. Okay, so there's a shoulder on the end of that, which, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Does this shoulder pop off of here at all, or is that on there permanently? I'm not going to hit it very much. No. I think it's all one piece. Okay, so, and I see it's splined, so that explains what holds it together. More than likely I'm going to have to replace this. Let's see if we can get it to come out. No. I really don't want to hit on that. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Because I don't want to screw up those threads, because I don't know if I'm going to put this back in here or not. Break it on there the wrong way. Probably can't. It's about as far as I can get it to go. Shit. If I had a punch or something I could hit on this one. I think we're to the point now. Shouldn't have to worry about it. So, okay. Now that we have that part figured out, how do we get it the rest of the way out? Now we can do this and not have to worry about it. So, okay. I didn't screw the threads up, that's good. That's the big thing I was concerned about. Let me take this over there and wash it, or clean it, and once I do that, we'll take a look at it. So I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this or not, however, I'm thinking I want to take this off, and the reason for that is I cannot get this out of here, and this assembly here has play in it. This moves, so we're gonna have to get in there anyway in order to figure out how to get this taken apart. So let's pop this assembly off here and let's see if we can do that or not. Oh boy. So I'm not sure if this assembly holds any fluid or not. I doubt it would, seeing that that's the clutch. I wouldn't think you'd want any liquid in there because the clutch would slip, but I guess we'll see. The engine is right there, so I don't. It may have some engine oil in it. I guess we'll just have to try it and see if anything comes out of it or not. I doubt there'll be any kind of fluid in there. It always loosened up, but yeah, I mean, you can see how much play is in this thing. That's something we got to get took care of, because I'm willing to bet that has something to do with why this clutch is so jumpy. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect, you know, but it needs to be usable. I'd like to be able to not have problems. Boy, oh boy, this thing is... I need experience to mess with. Let's see what we can figure out. Nothing came out. Still don't see any liquids or anything. And I think this is held in with some kind of putty. Looking at that bolt and what I see. say that they probably put, what do they call that, RTV in here? What I'm expecting to happen is I'm going to pry on it somewhere. I can't get in there without blocking the camera. Maybe. Can I get in here without blocking the camera? Probably not. There we go. Came loose, and I don't see any liquids coming out, so that means there must not be any liquid in there, which is one good thing. I don't really want to have to change out any more fluids. And I'm guessing there's something in here that we're going to have to line back up. Behind this door. Let's open up door number 1. Caught on something, that's what I thought. We have to line up. Or are we? The clutch is engaged right now. I wonder if we should disengage it. Actually, that would make sense. Because right now, well, actually, with it being engaged, just throw that back in there. I would think with it being engaged right now, let's just throw it. Either that bolt's too long. Do they have longer bolts on the bottom? Shorter bolts. I mean, damn, they do have shorter bolts. One of the sides has shorter bolts. Must be. Yep. Okay. Let's just throw that in there. Pull it forward. How do you disengage it? You pull the lever back, which would push it forwards. Damn it. Alright, let's try this and see what we can figure out. I'm not going to push the bolt in all the way, I'm just going to put it in enough. Well, it's adjustable. Nice. It's in, so now if we throw this pin down in the hole, there we go. There we go. That just disengaged. Cool. Alright, let's try that now. I think yes. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. What's that? Comes out further now. Well, that may not be good. We may have screwed up. Oh well. So looking in here, let's see what has play in it. You can't take this out. Can you? There's a gasket in there. So oh, this is fine. Okay, wait a minute here. Part of it's wore out. Is it just this? That's all that's wore out? So then how do you take just this off without removing everything? Because there's no way to get to it from the bottom. Hold on a second here. Does this pull out? I don't expect it to. There's a spring. I wonder if it'd be a bad idea just to go on ahead and take this all apart. So all this, I would assume, does is pushes into that clutch. Oh yeah, I think that's all it does. What's this caught on? It's caught on something in there, and plus I don't exactly think that this is round enough to get this out of here. There's a gear inside. I can't see. Can I grab the camera? There's something I can put in there and look. Let's take a look at what we have in here, shall we? I would assume. That didn't help me very much, did it? Well, there's a gear. That looks. I want to see where this thing goes, not that. I don't have enough room to get there. Actually, that helped me out. Maybe a little more than not. Let's see if we figured it out. No. So it looks like there's a gear inside of here. I think this goes all the way around whatever shaft in here goes to the clutch. That gear back here turns. I do not think that this is going to come out. And I'm not going to force it. Just want to look and see. This has no play in it. This isn't the problem right here. This, for whatever reason though. Oh, there it is. Okay, it does come out. It is what I thought it was. Oh, okay. Cool. So we got that out. Okay. Let's take this over to the bench and let's take it apart and see how it works. So this pin right here won't come out. I got this assembly off and he won't come out. So we're gonna fight with him a little bit and see if we can get him to come out. There he goes. I already fought him with vice grips so you couldn't tell. So now this is unhooked so we can move it. I'm not sure what exactly you would adjust here with it, but it is an adjustment of some type. I'm trying to get it to come out. It's proving to be difficult. I'm sure you can tell I'm fighting with it. I'm not sure what it's stuck on. Throw it in the vise and cram it. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on. You know, you would think that turning this thing this much by now it would have come out, but apparently not. There it goes. Damn. So here is our linkage. We'll put that over there. So this is what's wore out, as you can see right there. I don't know if this seems to be okay. Actually, this has some play in it. I know it did. I don't know how you take this apart. That's one that I gotta figure out. Wait a minute. You know, I just noticed something. We may not have even needed to take this apart as far as we did. But we got that out, so that was what I was trying to get. I have a let's just chisel at this for a second, shall we? So what this is welded, okay. I thought it was dirt, and I thought there was a pin in here that held that. So this is one piece here. That's your clutch fork. Okay, so how do you take this apart? That I'm not worried about. This side is fine. This here and this are what I want to remove, which I don't see a way to do that. Oh look, the grease fitting. I never even noticed that one. I bet that one's never been greased a day in this thing's life. Poor tractor. So that's one that we'll have to grease before we put the thing back together. So when the tractor was put together though, I did notice this had play in it. So if we can't figure out how to get that took apart, then I guess we're gonna have to just leave it alone and ignore it, which I really don't want to do, especially since we're into it this far. Now, since we have it open like that, would be the perfect time to, you know, go on ahead and fix that. But unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I do see a grease fitting right there though, so that's a nice sight to see. Makes me wonder how many other fittings there are that I didn't notice. So does this turn that shaft? Yeah, it does. Ah, I think I just figured out how this thing works. This moves. So this is hooked up to your linkage that goes up to the clutch on the tractor. This moves. This is on a pivot, I notice. This stays in the clutch. This moves back and forth, okay? That engages and disengages, or disengages, engages. One of the two, but I think that's how this thing here works. Looking at it and just playing with that for a second and figuring it out. So, this has to be able to be taken apart because right there's a spring, and I would assume that spring would go bad at a certain point in time. That has a lot of play in it also. Yeah. Oh my god. This whole assembly right here might need to just be replaced. This feels good though. This has no slop in it. It's nothing. Okay, so how would you pull this apart? Or does this just do what I think it does? And go up through? No, that'd be stupid. This is for grease in here. Yeah. Yeah, that fills up with grease in there. Oh, there we go. Unless it's not in this. No, it's not in that, it's just in this. But I swear that I've seen this thing move. Because it does. Yep. See? There it is, it's moving. I do not think it should move like that, so I don't... How would you take care of that? What would you do? That has me curious. I don't know what I'm looking at here, obviously. I do know how it works. It's just I don't know how to take this thing apart. Oh, right there's your clutch brake. That's wore all the way down to nothing. Man, that has a lot of play in it. So I wonder if, although, if you replace this and that, and you're into it this far, you might as well go on ahead and do the entire clutch on the tractor, which, you know, I really don't want to get into it that far if I don't have to, but seeing how wore out this is, has me thinking maybe I should. Because again, how long do you think it's been since that tractor has been gone through this far? You know, nobody's... Wait a minute. What is this? Because I'm sure that this thing hasn't been gone through in a matter of years. I see something up here. I found a clip. What did I find? Feels like a snap ring. Can I get whatever it is to turn back around? It's a ring of some sort. Ah, I found a snap ring. Well. That must be what holds this in here. I bet if we can get it out, this whole assembly will just slide right out of here. If I can get my screwdriver under it, just kind of play with it a little without breaking it. See, it pays to be observant and catch stuff like that. Or you're better off just leaving it alone and not touching it. I like that option better. Can I get this to come out? There's not another one on bottom, no, it's just this one. Okay. I wish I could get it to slide down. That's what I actually should be doing instead of trying to get it to go up. But it seems like going up is the only way that it wants to move. Let's try this guy. And if he doesn't work, I have another one. So we're trying to get this snap ring to come out of here. And then keep in mind there's a spring down there. Can we get behind it? Yes. Perfect. That's what I wanted, right there. Got it. Alright, so, no. Oh, you son of a bitch. I almost had it. Alright, let's see if we can get it again. I'm trying to do this without breaking the ring. But I think we might have it now. Nope. It is getting weaker though. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't want it to get weaker, I just want it to come out of this little groove. Wait a minute. Oh, well, I think it just let go. I think it's off. It's just a matter of fighting it. I think we just did. There we go. We got it. Okay, cool. So there we go. This comes down, and this is what we were after. One of the pieces we were after. This should just come out, which yes, it does. Where's our snap ring? I hope that snap ring survived. I don't even see it. There it is. Oh yeah, that's your snap ring. C-clip, whatever. So there we go. That gets this taken apart. See, you gotta be observant. Or just not touch it to begin with. That's your better option. That's marred. That's all mauled up, yeah. Let's pull that spring out and set it over there for right now. Yeah, it has some play in it, I will. No doubt about that, back and forth. Although, I don't think that little bit of play would have mattered. Is there a bushing in here, or is this one piece? No, it's... Wait a minute. It almost looks like there's a bushing in there, but there may not be a bushing in there. That's one piece. Like I thought. Okay. Yep. So, alright, that just leaves us with this. This part looks okay. I don't see anything really wrong with it. The bushing on the bottom looks fine. It's got some oil on it. I wonder what that is. If that's just gear oil or what. I will try to put some grease in here before I put it back together. Here's this assembly. Oh, that's got a bushing in it. Okay, good. I was wondering about that one. Yep. That has a bushing in it, so that can come out and be changed. Right? Yeah, that has a bushing in it. Cool. So this is savable. That's the one I was worried about, because I wasn't sure where exactly I'd be able to find another one of these, but cool. It'd just be a matter of getting it out, I guess. Or if it even moved. But there's that. And here's this. Now this had play, and a lot of it. Where is it worst? Right there. That's probably where it rides at. Right there it gets tight. So one of these two is the problem. I want to say it's inside of this. Let me take a second and clean my hands up. I want to take this in there and I want to run it through the parts washer just so I can look at it a little bit better and see what we have and kind of evaluate things. So let me do that real quick and then I will bring the camera back. So I started looking into this thing and kind of did some thinking. I went online and I looked around at some part sources and other places that I found. I found one of these assemblies that's fully rebuilt, all put together. This is no play in it, this says no play in it, this says no play in it. This is basically remachined and brand new. But here's the problem with that. Really nice new assembly is the price tag. The price tag for that was 600 bucks. So that's almost what I paid for that tractor. So looking at this, I've started to look into it a little bit further and I looked at other pieces and parts. I found one of these on there. I found this on there. I found a couple of these, but all of them are pre-owned. None of them are new. None of them are new old stock. None of them are rebuilt. So it kind of makes me wonder, do I want to go on there and buy these and risk them being wore out worse than what I have, or you know, machined wrong, or something's wrong with them that I didn't see, or the picture, or they're damaged and I can't return them? Or do I want to throw what I have that I know worked back together and just work with what I've got? All I really want to replace right now is the bushing here for the clutch lever. That way that doesn't shake around near as much as it did. So I'm thinking what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put this all back together, and we're just going to, I do want to see if I can find another one of these arms here, because this is kind of wore out. I feel like this is supposed to come out of here looking at it, but I don't think it is. I tried to get it, or tried to see if I could get it to come out and it wouldn't. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up having to replace that. But I see a grease fitting right here. This shaft is kind of rough. I really wouldn't mind replacing it. I could even, no, I couldn't do that because this would flop around. Now, the other thing also about this was the amount of play that was in this shaft. Now, as you can see, you know, that's not good. Now, one thing that I did consider doing was I could weld this onto here. But, you know, here's the problem with getting all happy with the welder and just welding it on there, is this has a spring in it, and also it slides around on a shaft. I'm assuming there's a reason why it slides around on that shaft, and I believe the reason is to be able to take this out of here, or because when you disengage the clutch it slides down, when you engage the clutch it slides up. But it has the spring, so that leads me to believe that. So it's kind of, do I want to throw a whole bunch of money at this thing and make it absolutely pristine and perfect where the rest of the tractor looks like an absolute POS, and have to go through and completely redo that clutch, which is not really on the list of things I want to do. I probably should. Or do I want to make do with what I have and make this work, which I'm thinking I just want to make do with what I have and make this assembly here work. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to reuse this. I'm going to reuse this unless I can find another one of these or another one of these. This is going into here. Doesn't have a whole lot of play. It does have a little bit, but not a whole lot of play. This right here is what concerned me the most. Slide it up. I mean, you can see, you know. So that was what concerned me. Although that's not really a big deal, I don't think. It's just this. I think this is what the main big deal is right there. And then this also. So that's what we're going to do for right now. We're just going to put it back together. It worked. We're going to leave it alone. I'm going to put that together off camera, and I'm going to get this put back onto the tractor. I am still, like I said, going to be replacing that bushing for the lever. And once I get that, we can go on ahead and put that back on there. But yeah, this is a little bit beyond my skill set. Now, I would like to put some more metal in here and get that to work. I'd also like to stiffen that up a little bit and fix this, but like I said, that's a little bit beyond my skill set, and really I don't think that it's worth going through the trouble of doing all that. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go on ahead and piece this thing back together. So I got the oil drained on the B, and I also went ahead and I drained the oil out. It's got a new oil filter. I also fixed the filter gasket where it was leaking, as you guys saw. We got that part all took care of. So everything on it should be all set and ready to go. So I think now we should see if it'll start. It's got gas in it. Gas is on. I want to see if it builds oil pressure. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start it up. Then once we do that, make sure everything works good, we'll go on ahead and put the clutch bolt on it. How easy that started up. That started pretty good. So getting back into this B, we have the new bolt. This is it right here. And we have the old bolt. So I want to take the old bolt and I want to put it in here and see how much play it had compared to this new bolt. So here's the old bolt. The one that was in there before. I don't know how well you can see how wore down it is. You can see how loose that is. So let's come over here and let's grab our new bolt. I have not checked it yet. It's actually still in the plastic. Shit. Now looking at this new bolt, you can also, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, you can see the difference in the thickness. This is a lot thinner than this new bolt is. So let's grab our lever. Oh yeah, look at that. It's still got a little bit of play in it. but it's not nearly as bad as this one was. Or it's not nearly as bad as that old one was. So yeah, let's go on ahead and let's get this stuck onto the tractor. I'm gonna put you guys on the other side, that way there's more room for me over here. So let's go ahead and let's get this stuck on here. This is the new clutch bolt. Here's the linkage that hooks up to the new clutch bolt. We want to take this out on this side and we want to pull this pin. I also want to move that for obvious reasons, because I don't feel like digging through oil. We want to hook that up there. Now I'm not going to put the pin through it yet on bottom, because I want to be able to remove it, so that way I can, if I have to, remove it and make adjustments. Well, actually, I can just adjust this linkage up here, so never mind. Technically, I could remove it or put the pin in. That's weird. I'll let this go through. You know, one thing I should have done was I should have cleaned that out before I put all this back together. Now that I'm thinking about it and in here already. Damn it. Oh well. At this point we're already into it this far. We may as well just go on ahead and get it back together. I don't plan on taking it apart anytime in the future. Let me grab a thing. Hopefully the next time this linkage has to be messed with is either after I'm dead or the next owner, is my hopes. Take that. It should not have went in there that hard, I do agree. But it did, so should have stuck the bolt in there instead. It's fine. What's it right there? Just a matter of getting this in. I'll get it in later. So let's get the lever on here. We'll just take that off. There we go. Should adjust this in before we actually have it in. Where this needs to line up to. I'm assuming it should be lined up. Should be lined up, you would think. Either the hole needs to be cleaned out or something. Give me a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. This shouldn't be that hard. Probably not the best way of doing this, but I got it. So we're just about to the point where the head of the bolt pokes through. Maybe. Should be. I see the threads. So we should be able to now put that on there and use that to pull the bolt through. Now the one thing I'm thinking about right now is I should have cleaned that bolt up and I should have put some oil on it before I stuck it in. But you know, oh well. So let's just do this. I should start pulling it in. Oh yeah, that's still got a little bit of play, but it's not as bad as it was, I don't think. And then once I get it tight on there, it should be better. Because it does need the lever to be on there, it needs it to be tight. Yep, that's going on nice. Cool. Yeah, I think if I have to replace this in the near future, that'll be another thing I do. There's some grease in there before I go through the trouble of doing this. Trying to think of a way to get that clutch or brake pedal out of my way. The other thing I almost thought about doing was taking the steering column off and the shifter, but I really don't like that idea. I'd probably rather just leave them there. I'm not repainting the tractor, so they don't really need to go anywhere. It still moves around more than I'd like it to, but I mean, you're gonna have some play in it. You know, what do you expect? It's almost a 100-year-old tractor. And I'm beginning to... There we go, never mind. I was gonna say I'm beginning to think I should have done this before, but no. So, pushing it forward should engage the clutch. Pulling it back should disengage, which it seems like it does. Cool. Cool. Let's try that. And now it should engage it and disengage it. It doesn't go back nearly as far as it did when earlier. So yeah, let me get everything off of it and we'll get it started up and see. Got everything off of it. So now, we gotta pull this bucket out. So now, when we crank on it, even though that's wet, it should start. Now, when I crank on it, it should start. damn it. Almost. Well, I took it out and rode it around a bit, did some filming on it. Unfortunately, it started to rain. I came in here to set the camera up to film driving it in. Well, I wasn't gonna drive it in. I was gonna take the camera over there and film going up the hill. But unfortunately, it started raining. So I thought, well, let's go on ahead and put it away. So that's why I'm soaked. So yeah. I'm pretty certain that we got it fixed. That clutch bolt, I believe, was the problem with it and why it was hopping around so bad before. So yeah, I kind of wondered if it was operator error, but no, that answered my question. It wasn't operator error. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna wait for it to stop raining, then we'll take it back out. I wanna do a couple more things before I end the video. So here's an update on this 1947 John Deere B, the one that we have been working on for the past it's been a few days that we've been working on this. So I got the clutch lever put back on it, we drove it around some, and bringing it back into the shop. Some other things that I want to do, I had some people tell me in some of the videos that I recorded and was sending around to some friends of mine, I had a couple people tell me it sounded like it was running on one cylinder, which me being, I only ever use single cylinder tractors, I assume it's normal, or it sounds normal to me. But to other people that know what these things are supposed to sound like, it doesn't sound normal, and I was told about that. So after the second or third person told me about it, I said, you know, maybe I should go on ahead and look into it. So I pulled the plugs and I looked both of them over. The one looked like it hadn't been firing, the other one looked like it was firing, and it was firing pretty well. So I put both plugs back in it and I pulled the wire off of the one on the side that we're on currently, and the engine just completely died. It didn't try to stay running or anything, it just died. So once the engine stopped moving, I put the plug wire back on, I fired it back up, went to the other side and pulled the plug wire off of the other cylinder, and it just kept running like nothing had happened. Now, what it should have done, if both cylinders were running good, it should have, once I pulled the wire off of this side, it should have started running on the other side, and it should have been a noticeable difference. Same with when I pulled the wire off on the other side, it should have started running only on this side, and a noticeable difference like how it did. Although, well, it didn't make a difference at all when I pulled that wire. So I looked into it and everything about it looks fine. I checked the engine for spark, the tractor has spark, everything in that area looks fine. I should have recorded this, but it was just kind of a, I want to see if I can figure it out type deal. It was the middle of the night, so there you go. Got into that, got that all took care of. So currently I am waiting for a spark plug for it. Another thing that I want to do while I have it out here is I want to go over it and degrease it. What I mean by that is spray it down with the pressure washer and then soap it down and wash it again, because it's got some grime still underneath the engine and a few other places. I'm gonna do that stuff off camera. I'm not gonna record that, just to try to clean it up a little bit more and make it a little bit more presentable. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to flush out the cooling system for the engine. I hadn't done that yet. I drained out the oil and transmission oil. However, I never got around to doing the cooling system, the radiator, and also cleaning out the engine block. So that's the next thing I want to do. I'm assuming that coolant has been in there for the last 80 years. This engine has existed, so more than likely that's going to need to be changed out. It's probably nothing wrong with it, but I just want to go on ahead and get it done for peace of mind. So yeah, what do you say we go on ahead and I'm going to take this out there, get it hosed off, and then after I do that, we'll bring the camera back out. I'll get the cooling system drained, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So I got the B washed off. Let's go on ahead and see about getting this coolant drained out of here. Difficult of a chore this is going to be. That wrench is too big, but we might be able to make it work. Well, this should be water that comes out of here. See how it looks. I have a white bucket we can catch some of it in, actually. Hopefully it's not brown. Already I'm greeted with brown. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I expected. Although actually it don't look too bad. As it comes out and goes down in there, they don't look too bad at all. It's got some stuff in it for sure. So I'm gonna let that flow for a while, then I'll bring you back. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this hose, and I want to just kind of spray this out, and then I want to fill it. You should start seeing stuff come out. So what I want to do is I want to fill that up until the water starts coming out clear. Once the water starts coming out clear, I want to seal it off at the bottom and fill it all the way. Fill everything up as full as it needs to be. And once it's filled to where it needs to be, I think we should flush it back out again a couple times. Then I'm gonna fill it with straight water, just water, and then run it for a while. Mason and Jack are planning on coming over here this weekend. We're going out to Wellington, and then after Wellington we're gonna come back here and mess around with stuff. So we're planning on running the B a bit while we're here. So we'll run it around for a while with that straight water in it to clean things up. And once we get whatever scale might be left in there, I'll flush it out, and that should fix our problem. The water's coming out clear now, so I'm just gonna throw this on here. So we'll let that fill up a couple times. I want to see how it turns out after that. If it ends up not cleaning up like I want it to, I do plan on pulling the rubber boot off, the one right there and the one down there. So we'll get into it a little bit further and get into it at those 2 points. But for right now, I just want to flush that radiator and make sure that that cleans out good. So that's what I'm going to do for a little while. Then I guess we'll bring you back here in a bit. You guys got to see how it was. And then here's what came out of it. It actually doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit better than I thought it was gonna look, but it's not terrible. That's not all of it. I did dump a lot of it out. Sounds like it's overflowing. I did dump a lot of it out, so that's why some of it's missing. I gotta go see what's going on. So I guess I'll film it. Here's the first flush from the water jacket. Ready? Actually, that don't look too bad. That looks a lot better than I was expecting it to. I was thinking it was going to be really dirty. Nice. So I guess maybe 1 or 2 more times of doing that, and actually it may clean up nicer than I was expecting it to, because I was expecting the water to come out brown. Huh. Well, that doesn't mean that there's not a bunch of shit trapped back there somewhere, which we got to get. So I'm gonna do that 1 or 2 more times, then I'll fill the cooling system up. Just got back from the parts store. I picked up a couple of new spark plugs. Here is the first new one. New part smell. Throw this in here. So before it was only running on 1 cylinder. I'm sure you noticed in the video it sounded like it. That sounded normal to me. So let's throw this guy in here. So this is the angle. There we go. There we go. I got it. Shouldn't have been that difficult, but it decided to be for whatever reason. So now we'll run over to the other side. Get that plug changed out, and yeah. So this plug over here was the good one. This is the one that was working fine, that I had no issues with. The other one quit on me for whatever reason, I don't know why. It would have spark, but when you put it under compression, it lost spark, so I'm just gonna go in and change them both. Yeah, see, this one looks good. Here's the good spark plug, you can see it. Actually, it looks pretty damn decent. It was burning really well. So, go ahead and grab our other plug. New parts now. And so once we put these both in here, we should be able to, that one started easy. We should be able to start the thing up, and hopefully it should run a lot better than it was. It seems like it's adjusted just right on both sides. You can get that plug, because that plug was in both sides. I swapped it around to make sure both cylinders were good. Here is the plugs, both old ones. Here's the one that was never fired. Here's the one that worked. You can tell the difference, I'm sure. So yeah, let me set the camera back a little bit and let's try to start it up and see how it starts. First start on the John Deere B with the new spark plugs. There we go.
going up the hill.
Alright guys, want to take a second. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you see, please consider going down below, hitting that like button on the video. Helps me out a lot, actually helps the channel out a lot, helps the video get around, and more people who might be interested in watching this might find it and be able to watch it. Also would appreciate it if you guys like what you see and you want to see more, please consider going down below, hitting that subscribe button on the channel. Doesn't cost you a thing. Tells YouTube you guys like the videos and want to see more. Tells myself the same thing. I'd also appreciate it if you leave a comment. These videos tend to get a lot of views but no comments or really any reactions on the video, so I'd really appreciate a comment telling me if I'm doing a good job or if there's something more you'd like to see, or you know, you want to see the engine get pulled apart on this thing or me blow a rod. I still have the straight water in the radiator. Some point in time I do plan on pulling the engine apart. I want to go through it and just look it over and make sure everything in it looks good. If I decide to get into it far enough, I might even pull that transmission apart and just check it and see how things look. Just pull the inspection covers off of everything and make sure everything looks good, change the gaskets. I've noticed a couple seals look like they're leaking, so I want to go on ahead and get those took care of. You know, I really would like to have no leaks under this tractor. Engine still has oil in it. It's still got pretty decent oil, looks pretty clean to me. I don't really think this engine burns any oil, so that's pretty good. That's a lot better than it used to be where it'd leak it everywhere. Now it's actually running pretty good and I don't see any oil missing, so that's good. I haven't had to top it off any yet. I do see some leaks, or I do see some drips under it after it's been run or after it's been setting for a while. Usually overnight you'll see 1 or 2 drips under it, which I'm not really a fan of that. I like to get that took care of, or at least figure out what's leaking so I can get that took care of. I want to look into the governor, make sure that everything in the governor looks good. Just go over it and make sure everything looks good. Mainly the head gasket, because the head gasket on here I almost think is original, but after seeing some RTV sealer in where the cylinder jugs meet the block of the engine, I'm starting to wonder if this engine has been gone through at some point. So that's one thing I want to do. And also, you know, look the cylinders over and make sure the cylinders look good. The idea was given to me of using a bore scope, but I do not have a bore scope, and to be completely honest with you, I would rather open it up anyway, and also while I'm in there adjust the valves, because if you look through that bore scope and you see a bunch of shit inside the cylinder, you're gonna have to take it apart anyway in order to get all that out. So I'd rather just do it right, take it apart, go through it, clean it out, clean up all the surfaces, check the head, check the bore, make sure the bore looks good, see if it's cross-thatched, and see if there's any markings in that piston stating that the engine has been bored over. I doubt that engine's bored over. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the engine's original. However, the tractor in some areas has been repainted, so it brings me to believe somebody has put some work into it. What I was told when I bought it, or what I was told before, was it was in the process of a restoration, and I guess whoever was doing it kind of lost interest in it, or something happened. So it sat for a while and then it was sold off and I ended up with it. So that's where it is right now. So yeah, alright guys, thanks for watching, take care, bye.